Good morning, student.
Very good morning, sir.
Dear student, today our topic of discussion is inclusive education. So, in this topic, there are two important keywords. One is inclusive and another is education. So, first of all, we need to discuss what is inclusive and another what is education.
Okay, sir.
So, inclusive means including all the services or items normally expected or required. We can also say that inclusive means containing as a part of a whole.
So, sir, what is the meaning of education?
Yes, I am telling you the meaning of education. So, education is nothing but a modification of behavior. Great educator Swami Vivekananda defined education as education is the manifestation of divine perfection that is already in man.
Sir, what is inclusive education?
Yes, inclusive education is defined as a learning environment that promotes the full personal, academic, and professional development of all learners, irrespective of race, class, color, gender, disability, sexual performance, learning styles, and language.
Sir, in our constitution, that is Constitution of India, is there any provision regarding inclusive education?
Yes, there are constitutional provision for inclusive education. In the Constitution of India, Article 45, free and compulsory education for all children up to 14 years. And another article, that is Article 21A, Right to Education Act 2009, fundamental right of all children up to age 14 years. Therefore, all children up to 14 years, they can get free and compulsory education according to Constitution of India, irrespective of race, class, color, gender, disability, sexual preference, learning styles, and language.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, what is your question?
What are the aims and objectives of inclusive education?
There are several aims and objectives of inclusive education, and these are education for all. That is, up to 14 years, every children got education according to Right to Education Act 2009. Next aims is protection of child rights. Then identification of skills. That means what type of skill they want. This can be identified. This inclusive education. Next aims and objective is development of social consciousness. That means with the help of inclusive education, student can be developed their social skills. This inclusive education has also aims and objective for preparing children for accepting new challenges. This education also have objective for development of brotherhood, and finally this education has objective to improve quality of education.
Okay, sir, I understand the aims and objectives of inclusive education. But what are the needs and importance of this type of education?
Yes, this inclusive education has very much need and importance because this education fulfill the constitutional responsibilities, because every country has responsibility to provide education for their children. So by this inclusive education, country provide education for every children. It may be disabled, it may be gifted, it may be normal. Every children can got their education by this inclusive education types of education. Therefore, inclusive education not only fulfill the constitutional responsibilities, it is also important to enable children to stay with their families for the development of healthy citizenship, for achieving the universalization, developing feeling of self-respect, for the use of modern technology, for social equality, and for self-reliance. Now we can say that this inclusive education has great need and significance. Dear student, now we discuss about Principle of inclusive education.
Okay, sir.
There are several principles of inclusive education. That is, no discrimination with student, equal educational opportunity to all, school adapt to the need of student, equal educational benefits for all students. The students' views are listened to and taken seriously. Individual differences between students are a source of richness and diversity and not a problem. Dear student, these are the principles of inclusive education. Now we discuss about problem faced by the student in inclusive education, and these are inferiority complex, lack of understanding, adjustment problem. That means sometime in inclusive education student faced adjustment problem. It must be the reason that in inclusive education, several types of children are studied mutually. Therefore, they can face some adjustment problem. They also feeling extra burden, insecurity problem, lack of expression, negative approach. These type of problems they faced in inclusive education. Now we discuss about role of teacher in inclusive education.
Yes, sir.
In inclusive education, teacher plays a vital role. First of all, teacher interact with students' parents. During their interaction, teacher understand their student. After then, teacher try to solve their students' problem. Teacher always develop new learning strategies. Teacher also able to develop self-confidence. Teacher able to provide special facilities to their children. Not only that, teacher always look after their students' personal need. Teacher always recognize their student hidden talent. Student include positive attitude to everybody's children. During classroom, teacher always understand each and every children of his or her classroom. Therefore, for teaching them, he applies multi techniques, different teaching strategies. These are cooperative learning, peer tutorial, multi-sensory techniques, that is different types of activities, that is learning with computers, learning with teaching aids, learning with different playway method. These types of sensory method he always applied. Another important rule of teacher is design of classroom from inclusive education. That is, what should be the size of class, what types of teaching it require for maintain the class, what are the time restriction, arrangement of light, attention to physical needs of the children, special attention to disabled children. That is, this type of design of classroom maintained by the teacher as per his or her requirement. So these are the rules of teacher for inclusive education. My dear student, now we discuss about barriers in inclusive education.
Okay, sir.
There are several barriers are observed in inclusive education. These are lack of trained teacher, lack of infrastructure, that is well educational setup, lack of funds. It must be the reason that government of India provide small budget for educational field, high rate of teacher student ratio, therefore teacher hardly know their students, social discrimination, lack of awareness in everywhere. These are the drawbacks or barrier of inclusive education. My dear student, now we discuss about different strategies to improve inclusive education.
Okay.
Teacher can apply different strategies to improve inclusive education. These are, teacher can encourage students to learn. That means teacher always encourage his or her student in the classroom to learn in the better way. Teacher can and motivate their students to form good study habit. That means how to form good study routine, how to drill, how to comprehension, to understand any topic, how to drill, how to set timetable. These types of study habit teacher can form to their children. Teacher always improve his or her teaching method. Teacher always talk to parents to understand their student. Teacher also use different types of TLM, and teacher also use different types of ICT. Now we can say that in this way teacher can improve continuously inclusive education. So student, these are my discussion regarding inclusive education. If you find any problems, then you can email me in my email. My email is kamaldev99 at the rate of gmail.com.